Soda Drinker Pro is why you should make art.
Soda Drinker Pro. Soda Drinker Pro.
Soda Drinker Pro is, simply put, a soda drinking simulator. Every level acts the same. You're placed into some sort of area to explore and are given a soda to drink. As you explore, you can gather bonus sodas, and the level ends when you finish your soda, putting you immediately into the next level. Now, you may have noticed that the graphics in this game are less than polished, and the gameplay itself seems underwhelming, and you'd be right. Soda Drinker Pro is not a classically good game. I mean, seriously, this is basically it. The whole point of this game is to wander around and look at the scenery when it looks like this. Or this. Every bit of graphic that's in this game is clearly made quite quickly in a simple program like MS Paint, with little thought or care on making anything look even remotely realistic or even follow a certain style. Sure, you could argue that there's a cohesive style to all the graphics in the game, but it feels more like an emergent style from how this person paints, rather than an intentional choice to make every area look similar. Even the sodas, the crux of this game, follow the detail level of everything else. It's not even a complete design, it mirrors itself to cover the other half of the drink. Okay, well, maybe there's nice music?
Only infinity more sodas to go.
Well, at least it's not stolen and is clearly custom made for the game. What about gameplay? Is there some interesting way to drink the soda? A secret ending for getting all the bonus sodas? Nope. You raise the cup with one button, drink it with the other. No extra ending or score for bonus sodas either. Hell, you can't even get all the bonus sodas. So, what's the point? Why play this game? Why talk about it? This game doesn't seem to meet any of the normal points a good game does, and yet I can't help but love it. I can't explain it well, but there's something so peaceful and nice about just getting to explore a beach, a park, or whatever else while enjoying a soda at your own pace. I seriously get lost in this game. I can wander through levels for hours and not even really realize I've done it. But it still stands that this game falls short on many metrics that games are usually measured on, and there's a significant number of people that would be bored by this game. So let me back up a little bit. Instead of asking why anyone should play or care about this game, let me ask a better question. Why do I like this game? Let's talk about art for a second here. I'm of the opinion that the simple act of creation inherently takes from the soul. It doesn't matter what you make, it doesn't matter how much or how little effort you put into it, whatever you create intrinsically comes from inside you and is deeply affected by the way your brain specifically works, by the opinions you hold, by the way that you see the world around you, because ultimately that's all that you know. Whether you deeply consider every stroke of your paintbrush, or you're just singing out the sounds in your soul that bubble up as you go, whatever you create is a reflection of yourself, even if it's just a small portion of it. And as a viewer to art, feeling whatever emotions come from the art is, in some way, feeling an emotion the artist themselves feels. Some connection, however surface level, with the artist. Looking at Soda Drinker Pro, I think that personal expression comes out best in the level design. Each level has a very clear, different theming with essentially nothing to do with the other levels, and once the base game was created and things like moving the character and drinking sodas were made, making new levels is trivial. It's just another box with different graphics plastered on them. What I think this means is that these levels are a very direct line into the mind of the person who made this game. They had a moment where they considered a haunted forest, and boom, haunted forest level. They thought it might be interesting to drink a soda at a gas station, so they made a level where you do that. And I think what I like so much about this is that there really is no inclination of a deeper level of thought or greater plan for the levels. It really is just whatever came to mind. So when I, an observer to these levels, play this game and I go around drinking sodas, I feel a connection to the person who made it. Specifically, I feel a connection to how they felt when making it. With no greater overarching theme or idea, the feelings that come through are more of just the pure moment-to-moment feelings that the creator felt when making these levels. I can look around to these levels and areas and wonder, what were they thinking about when they made them? I mean, why does this level look like this? What prompted this kind of design? Or this? Or even what levels would I make? Where do I want to wander around and drink my soda? Inside a convenience store? Did they think of that? I wonder if that's a future level. How would I design it? Are the walls those fridges that the drinks are kept cool in, with walls of shelves of snacks in the middle? Bonus sodas hidden between the shelves and behind the counter? Maybe one of the walls is a window to the outside where you can see the gas pumps. This game makes me want to create something, and a large part of why is how rough and unpolished this game is. Everything in here feels like something I could feasibly make. I could have drawn the trees, I could have made the soda texture, I could have made this title screen. And that's a pretty unique feeling for me in gaming. I mean, sure, there are games where the whole point is to make something. I mean, Minecraft still stands as one of the biggest games of all time, and a significant portion of the game is just making things. But the feeling of making a house or building or something in a game like Minecraft feels different from how Soda Drinker Pro makes me feel like I want to make my own game. Minecraft is a sandbox where you can make anything, and there's absolutely merit to that. But Soda Drinker Pro is an example of a game I could create entirely from scratch. I think why that grips me so much more than a sandbox does has to do with what it feels like to make something entirely new, to make art in some form. Now, I was never the artsy kid. I never doodled in class or did anything creative when I was young. I mean, hell, I dreaded art class with a passion. So I really mean it when I say that I think every single one of us, deep down, wants to create something. Whether it's a painting, a song, a game, or something less artsy like a simple birdhouse, or something more conceptual like building a community. There's a feeling deep inside that bubbles up when we create. To me, it feels like it's somewhere between happiness and hope. Happy that you're able to put a piece of you out into the world, and hope that people like it. I think that's really the feeling I get when playing Soda Drinker Pro. That raw emotion of creating art. Because it's pretty obvious that this game was simply that. Just a game that was made for the sake of making it. I'm gonna take a bit of a detour here and walk away from that making art focused train that we've been on to talk about something called Vivian Clark. In the second level of Soda Drinker Pro, there's a house on the wall. If you by chance try to enter the house, this happens. You see, there's an entire second game inside Soda Drinker Pro called Vivian Clark. And if you look at the reviews for this game or see anyone talk about it, most often the conversation is actually about Vivian Clark and not Soda Drinker Pro. And there's good reason for it. Vivian Clark is genuinely one of the most creative and engaging games I've ever played. The way the levels progress has an extremely organic, free-flowing feel and makes me want to explore the depths of the game more than any open world game has ever pulled me in. I could probably write an entire video just on Vivian Clark, but I'll save that for another time. For the sake of this video, I'll just talk a bit about the gameplay and style. You start the game as a raindrop falling to earth, and you have some sort of generic collectible in your way. As you fall, there are other obstacles, like this bird. And if you hit it, you immediately go into another level based on what you hit. You still have the same collectibles, but now a new environment, movement options, a whole new minigame type thing with generally the same idea. Grab collectibles and hit something to go to its level. This continues for a while until you reach the end and get to start again. The ultimate goal being to get as many collectibles and achievements as you can before the fire goes out. This ends up with a gameplay loop that really invites you into exploration. Once you've played a round or two and realize how it works, you start to look harder and see what else you can possibly use to get to new levels and areas. Your mind starts to wander about possibilities and paths, wondering what else you might be able to find around the next corner. You start to think about what else is in these levels that could lead to areas. What other characters or objects would you expect in a space level? Where do they take you? And the art style of this game is extremely distinctive as well. It takes a sort of hand-drawn, rough feeling, but while still being polished enough to feel complete, and manages to keep a tight enough style across the whole game to really create a cohesive world of whimsy that almost looks like a child's dream. It's full of fun and creativity and makes it exciting to play through the levels to see everything. You know, Vivian Clark kinda reminds me of another game I've played. One with a hand-drawn style, short levels that quickly go from one to the next that lead you into completely new areas each time while still giving the player the choice about when to go to the next level. Vivian Clark to me feels almost like a more polished and in some ways fully realized version of what Soda Drinker Pro could have been. Or at the very least, both games hit a lot of similar points in a way that makes Vivian Clark feel emblematic of what Soda Drinker Pro could be. If Soda Drinker Pro had a bit more of a refined art style, it could have looked a lot like what Vivian Clark does. If the levels had a small bit of continuity and some small branching paths beyond go to the next level, it could have felt more engaging and exploratory in the same way that Vivian Clark does. I can't help but see the symbolism in how Vivian Clark, a fully realized, polished, unique and engaging game, is lost inside Soda Drinker Pro. A rough, messy game that's hard to really want to play. How you have to dig through the bad game to get to the good. And if we continue with the whole theme of how Soda Drinker Pro is related to the overall feeling of creating art in general, I don't think it's crazy to say that Soda Drinker Pro feels like a first draft at art. How Soda Drinker Pro is the game creator spewing feelings onto the page just to get it out and then cleaning it up afterwards to get into a finished piece like Vivian Clark. How, in order to create something, you have to go through the messy first draft. You have to make something bad. You have to just put it out there first. And then you can go back and look at what you made to pick out the pieces you liked and fit them together carefully. Truth be told, I've been a little harsh to this game, but it was to try and prove a point. Like I said earlier, I was never the creative kid in school. I was the one people wanted to partner with on math projects, not art projects. And I think a large part of why I was so averse to making art as a kid, and why it's still very difficult for me to want to go and create anything today, is because of that nagging feeling in the back of my head that it won't be good enough. That feeling you get when looking at something you've made and only being able to see every small thing that's wrong with it, rather than looking at what's right. Just like how I started this video, talking about all the things that this game does wrong, rather than talk about why I still like it and the feelings it instills in me. I don't think I'm alone in saying that we can often get stuck when it comes to wanting to be creative because of those feelings. Soda Drinker Pro is, to me at least, a reminder to just make it anyway. A reminder to just push whatever is in my head out onto the world, regardless of how good it is, and maybe even to especially make something bad. Because if I don't make my own Soda Drinker Pro, I won't be able to make my own Vivian Clark. Most people get this game and only play it for Vivian Clark, not really for Soda Drinker Pro. And truth be told, I can only suggest the same. Vivian Clark is a great game that I think a large number of people can enjoy. Soda Drinker Pro is more niche, and a pretty large majority of people would probably find it boring. But there's at least one person out there that truly enjoys being able to just walk around and enjoy a soda. And I wouldn't have been able to have that experience if this game were never made.